Hi. Look, we do realize we are the impediment between you and the afternoon nap. So we will try to make this time worth your penny. So when you convert Malaysian ringgit to Bangladeshi taka, investing in Bangladesh looks very good because you become rich very, very quickly. The other thing that happens when you go to Bangladesh and try to invest, as you probably know, we are incredibly good in making clothes. So even if you don't get your returns back, you will definitely look much, much better, just like all of us who have traveled from Bangladesh. So I'd like to start with a small story. A story of a 22-year-old kid. He runs a small startup in Bangladesh and he makes robotic arms and legs.
RICL TMX যুগের পর যুগ স্থাপনা থাকে মজবুত
for the injured, people who have lost limbs. Interestingly enough, his products have traveled across the globe. The Malaysian supply chain of chips and semicons have been baked into his product. And more interestingly, the seed money for his business actually came from one of the subsidiaries of Axiata Group called R Ventures. So this is one small example of how Malaysian investment, the Bangladeshi youth got together to do something really good for the society. And this is exactly why we are here and we are excited about the future of our country. We genuinely think that the country is actually at an inflection point. And this slide will give you a sense of why we think the country is at an inflection point. Around 1990s, the indicators that Malaysia had are precisely the indicators that we have today. Versus what you could get in Bangladesh, you can easily see that there's value in considering, should you produce here, one of the factories of the globe, and be able to serve to the rest of the region by producing in Bangladesh and getting it out of the country. So earlier this year, with the multilaterals and also some of the investment banks and consultants, we did this study to understand where does Bangladesh have comparative advantage. It's a 2x2 matrix. If I zoom into the top right corner, these are the possible sectors where if you throw money today, you're likely to get the highest level of returns in Bangladesh. To do that, what we did earlier this year, we've reduced the tax burden on EV cars and EV tractors. So especially if you produce in Bangladesh, then the rates are significantly lower than the conventional vehicles and significantly lower than importing. So that's a hint. This is a statistics that most of the people actually don't know. So the conventional agricultural growth in our country, agricultural export from our country is actually much faster and higher than most of these halal exporters. But that's conventional. Only about 100 companies in Bangladesh have currently a halal certification from JAKIM. But imagine if this 100 had another zero beside it. Imagine if we could create a dedicated halal economic zone, which we actually talked about this morning with your Honorable Prime Minister. If you are convinced that, yes, the why checks out, the where checks out, then the next question is how would you invest? There are obviously three major tracks through which you can invest. The first one is the classic one, the greenfield, but we also have this option, which I think has worked very well for a lot of international companies who have walked into Bangladesh to come in to Bangladesh through a joint venture. Timing-wise, we also believe this is the right time. The reason we believe this is the right time is because the inflations have started to go down. The exchange rate has remained very stable for about 12 months now. And at the same time, we have seen massive uptick in export out of Bangladesh, and a lot of which is because of the policy interventions and the logistic network improvement that we have experienced in the last few months. We do intend to, in the next 5 years, almost quadruple our port capacity, which then would make this number look like a small number. And if you do invest in Bangladesh, the other small table that I'm very proud of is this table. It is not a short game. You're not going to go in like a gambler and throw money in Bangladesh and get out next day. That actually doesn't give you a lot of return. But if you stick around, it is statistically proven that Bangladesh does give you a much higher return on equity is specifically assigned to support the Southeast Asian clients, and they'll be very happy to answer your questions, help you walk through the investment process and policies in Bangladesh. If we have a Malaysian investor who has gone into Bangladesh, and hopefully we'll hear from them, hopefully they've had a very good experience. So that's why my part 2 of presentation would be given by an investor who has invested in Bangladesh. So may I request Vivek to come on stage and kindly join me in presenting. Thank you.